14 years have passed since the roar of NATO jets shattered the night over Tripoli, toppling a regime that once dared to dream of a borderless African Union. The man at its helm, Muammar Gaddafi, met his end in the dust of Sirte, his body dragged through streets that once echoed with his speeches. But ghosts do not die easily in the desert. They rise with the Harmattan winds, carrying the scent of olive groves and untapped oil fields. Now, in the sweltering autumn of 2025, the specter of his second son, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, stirs once more, not as a prisoner of Zintan militias or a fugitive in the shadows of Turkey, but as a contender for the throne his father built on sand and steel. Saif's whispered return, fueled by tribal oaths and cryptic social media missives, has ignited a firestorm across the corridors of power. 5 global forces, each with tendrils sunk deep into Libya's black gold veins, watch with bated breath. For them, Saif is no mere heir. He is a seismic fault line, capable of redrawing maps from Algiers to Alexandria overnight. His ascension would not just reclaim Tripoli's green square, it would unravel alliances forged in the blood of 2011, sending shockwaves through boardrooms, bunkers, and warlord enclaves. This is the tale of their terror, a tale of empires trembling at the echo of a lion's cub. The sun hangs low over Benghazi's scarred harbors, casting long shadows on the rusted hulks of fishing boats that bob like forgotten relics. Here in the east, where the Libyan National Army (LNA) holds sway, the air is filled with the diesel fumes of armored convoys. Khalifa Haftar, the silver-haired general whose coup in 2014 birthed a shadow state from Tobruk to the oil crescent, sips bitter tea in his fortified villa. At 82, his eyes, sharp as a falcon's, betray no frailty, only the cold calculus of a man who has clawed power from chaos. But lately, those eyes flicker toward the south, to the Fezzan Badlands where Saif al-Islam Gaddafi's name is murmured like a forbidden incantation. Haftar's forces, a patchwork of ex-Gaddafi loyalists, Salafi militias, and opportunistic mercenaries, form the most terrified bloc in this geopolitical chessboard. For them, Saif is not a politician. He is the original sin, the princeling whose father's shadow they once served, only to betray it for their own crowns. Haftar's terror is visceral, rooted in the ghosts of 2011. He was there, a Gaddafi-era officer exiled in Virginia, plotting his return with CIA whispers in his ear. When the revolution erupted, Haftar watched from afar as Saif, the urbane London School of Economics PhD, transformed into his father's iron fist. Saif's infamous February 20th speech, that chilling vow of rivers of blood if protesters didn't yield, sealed the regime's fate, but it also etched him into the psyche of every Eastern warlord who flipped sides for survival. Now, with Saif's 2024 municipal election sweeps in southern strongholds like Sava and Ubari, Haftar sees his dynastic dreams crumbling. His sons, Saddam, Khaled, Belfadel, groomed as heirs, patrol the oil fields with Wagner remnants at their flanks. But Saif's appeal to the Tuareg and Tebu nomads, those swing tribes who control the migrant smuggling routes worth billions, threatens to peel away their periphery. Saif al-Islam is a ghost who haunts our every patrol, confessed an anonymous LNA commander in a leaked Al Jazeera dispatch from October 2025. The general's militias have already clashed with green flag convoys in the Sharara oil field, where Tuareg fighters, once Haftar's uneasy allies, now chant Saif's name under the cover of night. In Sava, Haftar's sons stormed a courthouse in November 2021 to block Saif's presidential bid, a desperate gambit that only amplified the princeling's martyr aura. Analysts like Tim Eaton of Chatham House paint a dire picture. Haftar's grip on the Fezzan is frail. Saif's return could fracture it like dry earth under a storm. Russian Wagner operatives, embedded with Haftar since 2018, whisper of assassination plots funded by the general's sons, echoing a 2019 allegation that Haftar offered $5 million to silence Saif forever. Yet Haftar's dread runs deeper than turf wars. Saif embodies the reformist facade Gaddafi peddled to the West in the 2000s. The Davos speeches, the nuclear disarmament deals that lured billions in investment before the bombs fell. Haftar, branded a war criminal by the ICC alongside Saif, fears the Sun could co-opt that narrative, positioning himself as the unifier who forgives but never forgets. In private cables from 2023, leaked via X, formerly Twitter, Haftar's aides fretted. Saif's amnesty from Tobruk was a poison pill. He uses our pardon to devour us from within. The Al-Ad Busaif tribe, key to Benghazi's defenses, has defected in whispers, lured by Saif's vow to dismantle the LNA's patronage networks. The general's response? A scorched earth blockade of southern routes, starving Saif's supply lines while his sons hoard Sharara's crude. This internal terror redraws Libya's map in blood. Haftar's east, propped by Egyptian jets and UAE drones, would isolate into a petrostatelet, ceding the migrant corridors to Saif's southern pact. Europe, already reeling from 2025's influx spikes, would face a humanitarian cataclysm as Tebu smugglers pledge loyalty to the Gaddafi heir. Haftar knows. One green banner over Tripoli, and his empire dissolves like a mirage in the dawn. Across the azure expanse of the Mediterranean, in the marbled halls of Brussels and the fog-shrouded think tanks of London, a different dread simmers. NATO's architects, France, Britain, the United States, once hailed the 2011 intervention as a triumph of responsibility to protect. Cruise missiles rained on Gaddafi's convoys, toppling a tyrant in 8 months flat. But victory's aftertaste is ash. Libya, once Africa's breadbasket with per capita income rivaling Italy's, now festers as a narco-state, its oil rigs guarded by teenage militias, its ports funnels for fentanyl and Kalashnikovs bound for Sahel jihadis. Saif al-Islam's resurgence terrifies the West not for his father's sins, but for the mirror he holds to their own. He is the original enemy, the suave diplomat who charmed Tony Blair in the tents of Sirte, only to morph into the architect of Misrata's siege. His return whispers, "You broke it. Now watch me rebuild it your way or mine." The West's panic crests in Paris, where Emmanuel Macron's Élysée Palace echoes with Sarkozy-era scandals. Saif's January 2025 RFI interview, a bombshell where he alleged suitcase deliveries of €50 million to fund Nicolas Sarkozy's 2007 campaign, reignited dormant trials. "I handed the cash myself," Saif claimed, tying it to Rafale jet deals and a covert nuclear reactor pact. French diplomats, already smarting from 2024's Sahel expulsions, see Saif as a vengeful specter. His Libya of the future blueprint echoes his father's Pan-Africanism. Sovereign funds to buy back ENI concessions, borders redrawn with Algerian iron ore and Nigerian gas. Saif's victory would nationalize Total Energy's fields overnight, warns a leaked Stratfor memo from September 2025. ENI, Italy's oil giant with $10 billion staked in Libya, lobbies Rome furiously. Meloni's government, eyeing migration pacts, balks at extraditing Saif to The Hague, where his ICC warrant for Misrata atrocities lingers like a guillotine. In London, the dread is intellectual, laced with Brexit-era regrets. Saif's LSE PhD thesis on global governance once earned him young global leader status at Davos. Now, MI6 briefs paint him as a hybrid threat, populist charm masking Islamist ties from his 2011 defiance. He'd pivot Libya to BRICS, courting Putin and Xi while starving our bases in Sigonella, frets a Rusi analyst in a 2025 Foreign Affairs op-ed. The US, under a resurgent Trump administration, views Saif through Libya's migrant lens. His southern alliances could flood Lampedusa with 500,000 crossings annually per UNHCR projections. Biden's 2021 envoy, Richard Norland, deemed Saif incredible for unity. Trump's team, hawkish on Wagner, fears a Gaddafi redux allying with Moscow to choke Mediterranean shipping lanes. Yet the West's terror is self-inflicted. Saif's 2025 X threads, cryptic Quranic verses overlaid on green flags, rally expatriates in Manchester and Toronto. We forgave Lockerbie. Will you forgive Benghazi? He taunts, invoking the 2008 compensation deal he brokered. Protests erupt in Tripoli's Martyrs Square, where NATO's 9,700 strikes killed 72 civilians per air wars tallies. Numbers Saif amplifies to delegitimize Babu's GNU. European oil majors like Shell and Repsol, burned by 2011 contract voids, lobby for Haftar's stability. Saif's pledge to audit Gaddafi-era kickbacks threatens $5 billion in frozen Libyan Investment Authority assets. He's the devil we bombed but couldn't bury, quips a former NATO commander in a leaked podcast. Geopolitically, Saif's map redraws North Africa into a fortress. Allied with Algeria's Tebboune, he'd seal borders against jihadist spillovers, starving France's Sahel revenge fantasies. Tunisia's Said, populist kin, would join a Maghribi bloc bartering dinars for dinars, sidelining Brussels' trade leverage. The West, haunted by Iraq's quagmire, whispers of soft containment. Drones over Zintan, sanctions on Saif's patrons, but dreads the backlash. One green victory, and the Mediterranean becomes a Gaddafi sea again. Sovereign, unbowed, and unforgiving. From Moscow's onion-domed spires to the opulent souks of Sava, the ripples of Saif's shadow spread like ink in water. Russia, ever the opportunist, eyes him with calculated warmth, a potential chess piece to counter NATO's ghosts. Since 2018, when Saif's envoys slipped into the Kremlin with pleas for mediation, Putin has hedged. Wagner flights ferried him from Zintan, and Bogdanov, the Kremlin's Libya whisperer, hailed him as tribally backed, politically viable. We support all constructive roles, Bogdanov told RIA in December 2018. Code 4, back Haftar for ports, Saif for oil. Saif's 2025 municipal wins align with Moscow's playbook, tribal pacts echoing Prigozhin's African ventures. Yet caution tempers enthusiasm. Saif's Pan-Africanism could snag Russia's uranium deals in Niger. If Saif rises, Russia gains a Tobruk foothold sans Haftar's baggage, piping Siberian gas south while choking Europe's pipelines. In the labyrinthine tents of Fezzan, Libya's tribal elders convene under starlit skies, their kafiyas whispering of ancient oaths. The Warfala, Tuareg, and Zuwaya, swing votes in this desert democracy, hold the fulcrum. Saif courts them as his father did, with water projects and amnesty promises. He remembers our wells when Haftar bombed them. Sheikh Bashir of the Tebu told Focus on Africa in November 2024. The Supreme Council of Libyan Tribes endorsed him in 2015. Now, 2025 rallies in Bani Walid draw 50,000, chanting for his ICC warrants dismissal. But wariness lingers. Saif's 2011 thugs and drunkards slur at rebels scarred the Awlad Busaif. Elders fear his return ignites feuds, yet see salvation. Unified tribes could reclaim smuggling tolls from militias, funneling dinars to drought-hit oases. Their pact with him redraws the south into a tribal confederacy, buffering jihad from the Sahel, but at the cost of autonomy lost to Tripoli's grip. Deepest in the earth, where seismic whispers betray reservoirs holding 48 billion barrels, lie the oil barons' vaults. ExxonMobil, BP, Total Energies, financial stakeholders whose rigs pierce Libya's flanks, tremble at Saif's ledger. Pre-2011, Saif greased their wheels. $70 billion in Libyan Investment Authority deals, from UniCredit stakes to Juventus shares. Post-revolution probes unearthed his influence on NOC contracts, backdated favors to PetroChina, stalled ENI bids. Now, his audits threaten $20 billion in frozen assets, per Reuters leaks. Saif would renegotiate every EPSA clause, fumed a ConocoPhillips exec in a 2025 Bloomberg profile. Libya is balkanized into fiefdoms, with Saif's south hoarding Sharara, Libya's largest field. starving Sirte Basin outputs. Europe, 10% dependent on Libyan crude, braces for $15 per barrel spikes. America eyes Wagner's oil grabs as precedent. Saif's return, then, is no Libyan fable, it's a continental quake. Haftar's east crumbles, the west's guilt festers, Russia's bets multiply, tribes realign, and oil flows anew under green sails. North Africa's map fractures. A Sahel caliphate starved. A Maghribi union was born, migrants stemmed or surged. In Tripoli's souks, elders murmur. The lion's son awakens? Who will cage him? The powers know the cage was bombed long ago. As Saif's convoy crests a dune toward the capital, the world holds its breath. The prodigal returns, and with him the reckoning.